Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about Emma and the issues that were in this story. Alright, so Emma, written by Jane Austen, was originally published on December 23rd, 1815. Things were run very differently in this time period, and a number of unfair and unjust things happened. The one we're talking about today is the treatment of women. Austen was very direct on this issue, using several of her own characters to emphasize it. Unmarried women were frowned upon by society, and a woman's only job was to marry, cook, clean, and have children. So, to be married was to have money and to be protected. Ladies had to be respectable to be seen by a man, and things were often surrounded by her upbringing, education, and money. A well-respected woman had to be educated, a proper lady with manners and elegance. However, a woman with too much education was also frowned upon. And to not marry was a scandal, and to be secretly engaged or elope was also so. So I'm going to give a quick overview of this story. So in the story, the main character, Emma, is introduced, and the story begins with her governess and Taylor getting married to a widower, Mr. Weston. After the wedding, we meet Mr. Knightley, Emma's brother-in-law, and he's often thought of as Emma's conscience. Emma decides that she needs a new friend to make a match for after Miss Taylor is married, so she finds Harriet Smith, an orphan who nobody knows her family or relations, and persuades the girl to fall in love with Mr. Elton, the town's pastor or parsonage. Around this time, Harriet's friend Robert Martin, a local farmer, also makes her an offer of marriage. However, Emma uses Harriet to refuse this offer because she thinks that Harriet can do better. A short time later, Emma's neighbor, Miss Bates, and her mom announce that their niece, Jane Fairfax, is coming to stay. Upon this news, Mr. Weston's son, who was born before he married Miss Taylor, also comes to visit. After an evening night at a party, Mr. Elton professes his love for Emma and not Harriet, to everyone's shock. Emma refuses this offer of marriage, and Mr. Elton leaves to get married to another woman. It's exposed then that Frank Churchill and Jane Fairfax have secretly been engaged for months on end. This brings other engagements, one between Emma and Mr. Knightley, who she realizes that she loves, and the second is between Harriet and Mr. Martin, who Harriet ends up loving after all. Based on what I read, these situations existed for many different reasons, but mainly were surrounding the thoughts and expectations, many coming from men, about a good woman. Women were seen as physically weaker than men, however, they were also seen as morally superior, thus making them more fit to run a household and teach children. Alternatively, there were very few jobs that women could have. The main one was a governess. Since the 19th century, things have changed in women's treatment and rights. Susan B. Anthony was the first woman to vote ever in the 1872 presidential election. Role models like Eleanor Roosevelt supported the women's rights movement from her elevated position as First Lady. Since these times, people have realized that men and women should be treated equally.